my channel. So today's video is going to be on my current powder highlight and contour routine. My voice might be a little bit odd because where my wisdom tooth is coming through is really swollen and I can't actually shut my jaw all the way. So my voice may be a little bit off today, but that is why. So basically this is going to be focusing mostly on the products that I use when I want to create my sort of everyday contour and highlight routine, and I normally go for a combination of cream and powder contour, but I wanted to focus more on the powders today. So in this tutorial you will see like a couple of concealers that I use to actually highlight before I apply the powder, and I normally, like you've probably seen this in many tutorials, I normally go in with my Bourjois bronzing primer or the Soletan de Chanel to sort of amp up my bronzer, but today I just sort of stuck to the powder products and it's looking a little bit pale because, well, I couldn't really see earlier when I was applying it. So when I use powder products to contour and highlight with, I use a mixture of things. A lot of the time I will go towards my Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit. This is the light version, and obviously you can see there are highlight shades, there is an actual shimmery highlight shade as well, and you've got your sort of bronzes and contour shades as well. When I contour and highlight, I don't just do them two steps. I do a bronzing step as well because I want to add life into my skin and also add a little bit of a tan glow to it without it just being pale highlight, sort of even more pale, and then a really harsh contour. So I personally think that the bronzing step is a must when you are contouring and highlighting. It just helps blend everything together and makes you look a lot more healthier and glowy and beautiful. The products that I tend to go for powder products is I'll go for something like a pressed powder, like this is the Mineralise skin finish. This is in my skin tone, but you can use those in a lighter tone and also in a bronze tone as well. You can obviously use separate bronzing powders like so, or you can use even, everyone must know about this blush. It is the NYX blush in the shade Taupe. This is an amazing shade if you're quite pale and you want to contour. And you can obviously always use highlighting powders which are separate as well. So when you are starting off bronzing, highlighting and contour, a lot of the time I will apply my foundation before I do anything. If I'm doing more of a cream contour routine, then I'll apply my highlight and my bronzer or my contour before I apply my foundation, or I'll apply my foundation and then the contour and cream products, yeah. So basically I'll apply my foundation and then I will go in with concealer, and I will conceal underneath my eyes and on any redness or blemishes that I may have on my skin. I would then use a separate product, and this is a tip that I've sort of picked up fairly recently. Normally I use a concealer and I use it as like a double duty product that will cover up blemishes and products, and it will also highlight at the same time. Just recently I have been using a concealer to sort of hide my under eye bags and then going in with a highlighting product over the top. This one is my M.A.C Prep and Prime in the shade Radiant Rose, and I use this just sort of underneath my eyes just to give that extra pop. I will also run this down the centre of my face instead of the more skin toned concealer. So I'm using two different products, and I find that my under eye highlight stays a lot highlighted for longer and also covered for a lot longer as well. So I will normally go in with all of my wet products first. I will set my foundation with my skin toned powder, and then I will go in and normally first I highlight my under eye and the centre of my face. So anywhere where I have applied the concealing products, I will then go in first with my highlighting primers. This kit is an amazing steal. It's £39, which could sound like a lot, but when you're buying everything separately, it's going to cost a lot more than getting 6 shades in a contour kit. It really isn't that expensive for the product you are getting. So after I have highlighted, I normally then go in with a bronzer, and I have been loving this Havana shade from the contour kit. I just dab it sort of on the back of my hand so I don't get too much product on, and then I will bronze up my skin. And then I use the Fawn shade, which is the one in the middle, to contour my cheekbones and my nose and underneath my bottom lip. There are much more extreme contouring and highlighting methods that you can choose, but this is just sort of my everyday easy powder, contour and highlight routine. So hopefully you're still here after all that ramble. So if you want to see how I do my sort of everyday powder, contour and highlight routine, then keep on watching. So like I said in the introduction, first of all, I have applied my foundation to my skin, and I'm now going in with an under eye concealer. Today I'm using my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and I'm just using a sort of tapered blending brush to blend this into my skin, and I'm making sure I get it right up to my lash line. So I haven't applied any product, like eyeshadow product, in that inner corner and also along my lower lash line. That inner corner gets really shadowy, so if anything you want to be concealing that area. Also, the smile lines that you get underneath your cheeks from your nose, they need to be concealed as well because they can get very shadowy as well. So after I've blended it in, I'm just gone back in my foundation brush and made sure it's all blended in with my foundation. I'm now setting all that foundation and concealer that I've applied with a skin toned powder. And I'm now going in with the highlighting step. Today I'm using my M.A.C Prep and Prime highlighter pen in the shade Radiant Rose, and as you can see, I'm using this to highlight the areas on my face that I want to accentuate. So I've applied it underneath my eyes, not quite up to the lash line, but underneath my eyes, down the centre of my face, and also up on the high points of my cheekbones. And then blending everything in with my foundation brush that I use to apply my foundation. Just going to help blend everything, smooth everything into the skin, and just make it look a lot more natural and dewy looking to the skin. Under eye creasing is always a concern, especially with me. I load up a powder brush ready to set my underneath eye area. So on this brush today, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills powder. I use the vanilla and the banana shade mixed together. It makes the perfect combination to highlight underneath my eyes. So basically what I'm doing is looking up and blending out that concealer. Now you can use a brush or your finger or a beauty blender to do this. The main thing is you need to keep looking up, and then while still looking up, you then set it with your under eye setting powder, and it works wonders. So as I did before, I'm just setting everything with my highlighted areas using the same vanilla and banana shade from the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit. Again, making sure that you are highlighting them creases underneath your chin, the smile lines I like to call. So I'm now going in with an angled brush and the Havana shade from the contour kit. This is going to be my bronzer, the powder that I am going to use to bronze and sort of give myself a nice tan, warm up my skin is what I was looking for. So as you can see, I'm applying it sort of to my cheekbone area, also up around my forehead as well. You want to apply this product where the sun would naturally hit your skin and naturally tan you. So I like to apply some to my neck as well because I have a very pale neck compared to the rest of my body. And basically when I have no product left on the powder, I then blend it down my cheeks so I don't have a orange tanned cheekbone and upwards. I then blend it all the way down to my jaw just to make sure everything looks natural. I'm now going in with a much smaller brush with a contour shade. Now your contour shade wants to be more on the grey toned. You want a very cool toned bronzer shade if you're using a bronzer. I use the Fawn shade from the contour kit, and it is the perfect shade for me. I apply it to the sort of outer area of my cheekbones only and sort of blend it down ever so slightly with hardly anything on the brush. I connect it up around my temples and also underneath my bottom lip and my jawline. This powder is going to create shadows, which is going to hide areas that you want to recede. So I use a much smaller blending brush, and I apply it down the edges of my nose, and I also round the tip a little bit more because I feel like my nose is very long, so I want to make it a little bit more button-like, so I round the tip. Yeah. Unless I have gone really heavy with the bronzer, I like to go in with the blush. Today I used a peachy tanned shade, and as you can see, I'm just blending it from the apples of my cheeks down into the bronzer and the contour shade. It just creates a beautiful natural flush to the skin. I also apply some on the tip of my nose and around my temple just to connect everything, especially with a tanned shade like that. It works amazingly. So now I'm going in with a highlighter, and I have really been loving my M.A.C Soft and Gentle at the moment. It is a very intense highlighter shade, but I just love the glow that it gives to my skin. So as you can see, I'm using a fan brush and applying it to the highest point of my cheekbone. This is going to really accentuate your cheekbone and really slim your face because you've created that shadow underneath and you're really highlighting the top. It's going to create more angles to your skin. As you saw, I also highlighted the tip of my nose, blending it into the skin, and I'm also highlighting my upper lip as well. I'm now going back in that contour shade and just contouring that little inner bit of my Cupid's bow. It's just going to accentuate and make you look like you have fuller lips. And then that is the complete powder, contour and highlight routine. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it was kind of, well, it felt really short and sweet, but I tried to get to the point as best I could. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you all very soon.